Okay, let's see how the Shmaya. Papers. I thought I had to see, I have a different paper for my stuff. My pocket. Not in the corners. I lost in my. I thought I had in my pocket. No, I need extra, not yours. That means that there's something on the table here. Give me all here. Good. Okay, the Siyata Dishmaya. With the help of Hashem. So, Bezrat Hashem this week, this year I want to talk about Machlokes Rashi and Tosfos. What is the takona of Tainas Besuli? A little bit march down to the takona of Shokdu. Shokdu means the rabbis aired that the daughters of Israel will have the Dazmu Toreach in a meal 3 days. Now, what exactly it means, we're going to talk about. Why Chilul Shabbos? There is a smoke of Ben Oif. Shishcha Ben Oif. That you talk about? Yeah, that's but always speak about it. Yes. That's not shock. That's not shock. Okay. The Mishnah says, Besulo Nises Lemarevi. A Besulo, a virgin, gets married on Wednesday. So it's a statement of Chazal that a virgin gets married on Yom Revi. But it doesn't say for the sake of who. V'almor Chamishi, and a widow on Thursday. But the Gemara at the Mishnah explains, שפעמיים בשבס בוטדינים יושים ביומos ובשני ויום החמישי. Twice a week, from the Takon of Chazal of Ezra, the scribe, they sitting Monday and Thursday in Beis Din. Shimoyo Lotanas Besulim, if he had a claim of virginity, or Yomashkim Lebeis, would get up early to court. Thank you. So the question is, first of all, what type of basula we talking about? Because many types of basulas. There is Eshes Koyen, there is Shar basulas. What are we talking about? Simply all basulas. But the problem is, why the Mishnah is speaking about the basula? They should have said, Aish noises ha-basula l'yom ha-revi v'salmono l'yom ha-chamishi. About the man. The man gets married to a virgin on Wednesday and a widow on Thursday. The subject matter should be the man, not the woman. What? Aish Mekadesh, the man gets married. But we start Kiddushin Aisha. A woman can get the first Mishnah in Kiddushin. We start by saying Aisha Niknis. The woman gets acquired. Who acquires the woman? The man. Who's the seller and who's the buyer? The woman is the seller. So maybe we continue on Basula. The Basula Nises. Or another way to answer that. Why are we talking about the woman and not the man? Because the chilukim is by the woman. There's a woman that is on Wednesday and there's a woman on Thursday. So since the chilukim is not through the man, it's the same man. Just the chilukim is because of the woman, what status is the woman, so he's talking about the woman. But still, the Mishnah could have said, Aish noises habesulo le'amarevi v'salon chamishi. But the subject should be the man still. So the question comes back. Why we talked about the besula, now on the end of the Mishnah, when the Mishnah brings the reasons, he says if he would, as a claim of basulim, would get up to court, means we want to attack him, man. So the end of the Mishnah about the man, the beginning talks about the woman. And now I want to ask Misvah, and this really want to start here, Misvah. Question is Misvah. What?
We're dealing with her.
One second. Listen carefully. When a woman commit adultery, if she did, she knows the truth. The husband is unknown. He has to clarify. He has kalim of sfekes, one sfek, two sfekes. Eidim, he has to search. But as far as his knowledge, he doesn't know. So, do we care about the husband that doesn't know and he's an innocent? Or we care about the woman that if she did a sin, even though she's knowing doing a sin, but she's stuck. As the Torah Kedosha says about Sori Meinu, she lied that HaKadosh Baruch the Ma'alochim said to her, why you laughed? She says, my husband is old, right? And what Hashem told her, Loiki tzachak, not true. You did lie, you did laugh. So a woman, what the woman says here, when he says he gets up in the morning and she has a tainus basuli, she's silent, she denies or she agrees. If she agrees, it's finished. If she's silent or denies, then we can have a mission. Now the woman that's silent, I can say, listen, I want to take care of her. She's afraid. She's stuck in a problem. She doesn't talk. So I want to save her, not to live with Beisu, with a man. Do I make takonos for a woman that if she did adultery after the engagement, she's a sinner? So I do takonos for the woman or no? Since the sinner, we don't care about the sinner. She did an aveira. We care about the man that is pure, he doesn't know, he doesn't know anything. And he wants to clarify his reality. We want to help him not to be with the reality of a woman that she's also with him forever. Or no, still, since right now the woman is silent, or the woman, even if she denies, but she's afraid, so we want to save her not to be with this man. It would be Isu if she did Isu. Or both. It's both ones. If she agrees, no, that cannot be she agrees. That's not the case of the Mishnah. But if it's silent or denies, the question is, do we care about her or only about him or both? This is the Shaila. From the language of the Mishnah, starting the language, it says Besula Nisis. It finishes Shim Lotanas Besulim, the subject is the man, claim of Besul. So the language is not clear. If we look in Daf Tet and Daf Yud base, there's two places. Open Daf Tet Amud Bet. Yes. If it's a wife of a Kohen, no? So, but maybe it happened before the engagement. But maybe, you don't know, it's a something. Maybe after always she's also before she's mutter. What? That's what I'm asking. He's saying if she's a Kohen, if it happened before, she's not a Rasha. If it happened after by Oines, she's also not a Rasha. Although she's prohibited to her husband, she's not a Rasha. So we make takona for the woman of Eshes Kohen that she's not a Rasha. There's only one side she's a Rasha who did it after the engagement. But most sides she's a tzadekes. So by Eshes Kohen wanted to do the takona for her because she's tzadekes. But a woman that she did berotza before the marriage, although she's not prohibited to her husband, but she's not a tzaddikus. What? She may be a kadesh or soina, according to some shittas, depends. Okay, but she's not definitely a tzaddikus. Okay, so you answer that she's a tzaddikus if was be'oines, okay, she's kohen. It's a nice answer, but it's miut of women, and even then, okay, she has cheskas kashos. So therefore, what? Can't take money out of her. Cheskas kashos, but more we say therefore she didn't do isu. So therefore we don't want to fix her. She has a cheskas kashos, and even if she just goes a suffix. Cheskas kashus will solve the suffix. And surely if you have double doubt, cheskas kashus will solve the suffix. But we're not saying that. I'm not using tools of solving. She knows the truth. He can never know the truth. She must use chazokes, fakes. She doesn't know she knows the truth what happened, because what happened with her body. So we can't use cheskas kashus here. Cheskas kashus is for us, for days that we don't know the truth. What? But maybe Berotzen.
Sometimes, yeah. Maybe a woman can have a boy. Not a woman. What do you do for her? I just didn't know going.
Eshes Cohen that you say that happened, or she's still awesome. So I'm saying, you want to say only Eshes Cohen? What? Toysa says, listen, Toysa says that the chazaka is not a good chazaka. Toysa's naftes, Amud Aleph, Dibur Atchili Ba'isem Besh Yisrael, he says, V'im toyma nukum becheskas eter lepaino, v'shloima da'anus kala yisne. If it was oines, people paka about it. Because a woman gets raped, she shouts, she screams, she comes home, she cries, she's full of blood. There's always a voice. It's not hidden rape. So why there's no voice? So the fact there's no voice, it destroys the chazaka. This is what they say is naftes. So cheskas kasher we cannot use. Can't use cheskas kasher. Ukasei says you could use. It's a shayla, but to say cheskas kasher, you can't say because why there's no voice? Hillel said that happened by rape. Rape there's a voice. If it was a rape, people will know about it. What? 1 second. What are you saying? What's your name, by the way? Simcha. Yes, I'm Simcha. What? Depends. What's the case? That's one of the cases she got engaged as a 12, went to under 3. Says, oh, it's under 12. We're talking about Aisha's Kohen. Aisha's Kohen starts, she can marry normal. Normal girl gets married and engaged after 12 years old. So it's not a seducing. It's no P2 here. So the shaila is, and what about cheskas kash? Cheskas kash it's against. Oines, cheskas kashes cannot say it happened by oines if she's a tzaddikas, because why? There's no voice, there's no coin. Great, there's normally a coin. The Torah says cheskas is not part of our equation. So let's go back to here. What? Great. We're talking about percentage. We're talking about chazok. The Rabbi Gabriel started with chazok. We knocked out. Now we're talking about percentage. Good. So now, but yes. Yeah. It's not a question here. Question is why the rabbis told men or women or both that they should get married Wednesday because we have time as besulim, he goes to basic. Who do we worry about? Him, about her, or about both? So we dealing about her. There's a svara. Why is she dealing about her? Because she knows the truth. The side that she did in Isu, she has to admit. She didn't admit. Or she was silent or she denied. So it means if she denies or silent, that tells us that she's a Rosha, and therefore you don't make takonatos or no. Women, which I'm afraid, like species Soremeinu, she lied. She said, I didn't that's what it says in the Torah. She says, no, I didn't laugh. She says, she laughed and she says, my husband is old. I'm going to have 90 years old, 100 years old, a child. So Avraham Avinu, Hashem told that woman to tell her. Why? She says, why you laugh? I didn't laugh. She says, no, it's not true, you did laugh. So Chazal say, Why should he get punished on that? She's afraid. Women are afraid. Women which under their husband are afraid to lose their life, we don't judge them by lying. It's like for a woman is an oinus. For a woman to say the truth about her husband losing her life is oinus. So mainly you can still say you can make it takana for her. I'm just trying to open the subject. So you still can make a takana for her. Although that she didn't admit, he had a bell. Or she was silent, so she can make a takana for her. She said, Tadek, it's good. Silent. She doesn't want to talk too much. Not to lose her life. She didn't lie deliberately. And if she did lie deliberately, still she's a married woman, she's stuck. What you do? She says no, but she's afraid. She still want takana for her now. This is the subject here. Now the language. Oh, so let's see Dafter. Let's see Dafter. I'm opening it to hear your question. Yes. Yes, I'm opening just to see what yes. Let's see. Let's see. Let's open. That's what we want to do. Let's open the Tetamut Bet. 5 lines on the top. Omar Abaye. Omar Abaye. Abaye says, Afanana mitanino. We also learned in the Mishnah this rule. What Rashi says, Afana mitanino, the Torah in Petach Patuach Motzosias Osro Olo. When a man says Petach Patuach, he prohibited her on him. The law Amrino Loikim, we don't say he's not professional. He knows what's going on, and therefore she's prohibited him. The Gemara before explained by one side. Okay. She brings the raya. What's the raya? It says, "Vesula nisla shema revi'i, lema revi'in, lema chamishi loy." Only Wednesday, not Thursday. My timer. Why Wednesday, not Thursday? Mishum mikrurei da'ato. Rashi says, "Acheni b'Shabbos haba." Until next Monday, from Thursday to Monday. How many days is that? 5 days, right? 5 days, too much. You'll be cool off. Belamayo, cool off. What do we care? What do we care? That's where our subject is. What do we care if he cools off? Not if he claims time of Basulim, you'll be believed if I want something. That's not our subject. We want to know what do we care about it? Not if he claims. What do we care? Belamai. If you want to give her a ksuba, doesn't give. He wants to get married not Wednesday, Thursday. So he can't. What's the problem? Why he can't? Because maybe she's not a basula and she doesn't deserve 200. But he wants to. He wants to give. He wants to let it go, forgive and forget. Man, he couldn't. Ela le'oisra olav must be to prohibit her on him. But the katoin time and he claims a claim. My love, isn't it? The katoin time bezvatuach, he says petach patuach. So let's see Rashi. Why the rabbis are makpid if he gets cooled off? If it's for money, native or malonu afsin, or do we care? Why do we have to stop him if he wants to give her 200? Why the rabbis worry that he will cool off? Let's see Rashi. We are makpid. Who is we? The chachomim. Or makpid. The subject matter is to prohibit. To prohibit her. He should cool off, and he will establish a woman that's prohibited to him. What does that mean? We worry about him or we worry about her? What do you say, Gabriel? I can't hear. Both. But the question is, it's only him or both or her? I'm asking, so you're saying it's not definitely only him. But that's not what Rashi says. But Rashi says we makpid. What we makpid on? Elav lois hu de kapdinon. The rabbis were makpid to prohibit her. Why? We cannot what he's believed. That's not our subject matter. We know why the rabbis. If he says petapatuach, we believe him. Great. Okay, by one subject we believe him. But why we make him crazy to get married Wednesday? What we makpid? Let's say he cools off and he doesn't claim petapatuach. What's going to be? What's wrong? That's what Rashi says. If he doesn't claim petapatuach and he lets go, what do we care? That's the reason of the takana. That's what we want. So Rashi says. With the kapdino, we must be that is not is what? Shouldn't call off. And then what happened? He will establish the woman that's prohibited, but he didn't say petapatuach. He didn't claim anything. Yeah. No. We're talking about a guy who cooled off. Mishnah. Get married Wednesday. Listen, Rabbi, listen, I'm going to explain myself. We tell him get married Wednesday. Why? Because it'll be Thursday, it will cool off. What does it cool off? He gets up in the morning and he sees his petach patuach. He didn't go to court and says, petach patuach. He didn't claim that. He sees that. What do we worry? Maybe he'll cool off when he sees. And he will establish the prohibit to him. It's asur aloi. The ikam is asur. He will establish the one that is prohibited. Maybe she's also there, but he will make the woman that's made also to him. So more than that. What? Rationalize, and more of that. Let me continue on more of that. Let's say he gets up in the morning, he sees petach patuach, and the law is that he's permitted to live with her. Because it's fake. That's the law. He opens Ramah. What's the law by fake, right? Simon Kufyud. Fake is mutar. I know that. I explained this Gemara, I'm adding. I said more than this case. In the case when you have two doubts. I'm going back to Rashi and the Mishnah. When you have two doubts. So the guy gets up in the morning, he says, why the rabbis should worry I cool off? I'm allowed to be with her. No. You don't want you to mekayim as asur aloi, the woman that's prohibited to him. As Rashi said, that's the Rashi in the Mishnah. Let's jump back to Rashi in the Mishnah. Rashi in the Mishnah says, it says, I'm reading the square brackets. If there is time between, there is to worry. If this guy so maybe we'll be appeased and it will cool off. And then what? What is that? The Rashi is talking about two doubts. Normal woman doesn't say it's just Kohen. It says what happens? Be a kainena, and he will establish her. Maybe she did a snooze and she's prohibited. What? It's very clear on what? It's him or her. No, Nesro, she's prohibited on him. The subject is her, not him. We don't want him to allow this woman that she's prohibited to him to be with her. Okay. Once again, he says the word Allah. Once again. Now let's open up Yud Beis. The Rashi there is a little bit different. Yud Beis Amud Aleph. Beis Rashi Yud Beis Amud Aleph. 2 lines at the top. The case is a man got married to a divorced woman that she's a virgin. How could be? She got divorced the same day. He had a fight on the wedding, and there was witnesses that there was no competition. She's a basula. What? Because there were people there that she didn't hit. Or she did but not a time period to do beer. That's Cheskas Kasha. Now, so the Gemara says, like you said, all those things doesn't help. There's no apotopos for arayos, and you cannot claim tainus basul. That's the Gemara there. The Gemara says, what do you mean? Forget about that something happened by the first guy. Maybe by you. You got engaged, you want to get married, and you find she's not a basula. Who says was then? You're right then that happened. But forget about then, maybe right now, between the engagement and the marriage by you happened. Therefore, we will have to have, it does not have a tanzus. Because it happened under him. And therefore, he cannot say, listen, so therefore maybe you can't say that it happened before. The Gemara says it doesn't have time in the Suli because Father happened before by the first man, so she got married to not a virgin woman, lechatchila, don't have imagination. She got divorced, don't have imagination. She's definitely not a virgin. Most of that's not true. Maybe I can have good imagination because maybe it happened under it. No, second guy. That's Sveika. You can't say Father. You can't say, the Gemara says Father, when she got married to the second guy, she's Vadai, not a Basula, although there's witnesses, but don't have dreams. So he's Shomeres. Kontraches Basula, but in Tabulu Yeshak Subamone, the Gemara says no. Here, but the first guy got married, so Vadai don't have dreams. So what is the first guy got? I have a dream. The first guy is full of virgin, but maybe it happened under him. This is the Gemara statement. So Rashi says, I suppose, it says, I must listen, but it gives it a I suppose. The Ketania says, the second guy can't say, listen, she's not a virgin, I don't want to give her ksubo, she's prohibited. Did something wrong. Can't say that. And Rashi says, we don't require the second guy to come to court. And now more than that. And the thing will not be clarified in Tachtov Zinsa. If under him she committed adultery, if not. We don't require him to go to court and will not be clarified if it was under him or not. Shema Asuro Hiloi. Maybe she's prohibited to him. Doesn't say, oh Lord, you hear what's your name? Rabbi Yosef Chaim. The Shema Asura Hiloi, she's prohibited to him. Here, she prohibited to hit her, right? So I'm looking at the languages of Rashi. Yes. We have a question, we care about her. She's a subject matter on the table or not. That's a shy. Yes, I know it's all great, but that's a shy. So let's see now. Yes, Rabbi. Yes.
So are you thinking about her?
That's not true. For example, I'll explain all that. You're saying a point. I'll tell you not true. Listen carefully. The Gemara says that a virgin cannot get married Sunday. Why? Why is she get married Sunday? Because the rabbis were shokdu on the daughters of Israel that will have 3 days of preparation for the wedding. It's for him or for her or for both? Only for her. That's what the Marashal says. We'll learn it soon. Only for her. So wait a second. So you can't say we don't make takonos for her and not for him or for both. Her. We care about her. And you know what's a svara? I'll tell you, my father, bless his memory, the Rebbe used to say many times to boys in yeshiva. Guys in yeshiva, especially about the chuvas, when they get married, they want to make a small wedding. Why to spend money? Or small engagement. Remember that from the Rebbe many times? Yeah, that's the Yoshua. He said, what he said all the time, don't make small engagements, make big ones. I remember there was a guy in Yeshiva didn't listen to him. The Rebbe screamed at him. He said, if you do it, we'll break. The broke obviously. Why? Because if the husband is toreach, the seuda for 3 days is a chazoko, ein adam toreach seuda mafsida. You don't if it's you let go a lot of problems, a lot of fights. You let go. In the beginning, when it's not so clear that the heart of together, there's a lot of lack of trust, so it can create a lot of fights. People can be quick to break. When there's a lot on the table if you break. My father said more. Everybody knows about it. Shame to break. On the woman's side, there's shame, right? So you invest in it. When you invest, you don't break it so quick. One of the things I remember, I went with the yeshiva right in the middle of the corona. We traveled to the Emirates, United Emirates, Arab Emirates, and one of the sons or grandson of the king came to Israel and investigated him in Ben Gurion with his visa, this and that. So they got angry. They canceled the visa for Israel, and it came there exactly the day before. One day came left. They couldn't come in. I don't know if you guys remember. It was a big shake. They already signed the tree and everything. But they got angry. Let's cancel. They didn't cancel the whole thing. Just the visa. It was too much of investment. And there was a lack of trust. They did small things. When you have big investment of contracts, you don't break it so quick. So there's the choyos that are for her. So that's what the Choyim says, the Maharsho, we're going to see soon. No, so why don't say, I can very easily, he says, don't always, when you talk about the husbands, the woman too, it's always both. Not necessarily. I can show you a takon of getting married which day, which is only for her. Don't get married Sunday, only for her. So don't tell me to be only him. I can show you a takon only for her. Show to family only for her. So my question is back here, what? Yes. Adarabe, we want to save the Jewish girls from being with a man all their life, Esau. Want to save them. They're stuck, they're ashamed, they deny, they're silent, they're stuck into their own square, they can't get out of it. You want to save them. You want to build it out. Right? And more than that, if you get married the right day, she will admit right away. Goes to court and you can create a voice. He won't come. Be afraid. Then won't come to position of you. We clarify this, she would admit before. So let's go back. So that's unclear to me. So the Chemda Shloimo, he brings a guy from the language of Tosfot. Tosfot and Daf Beis Amud Aleph, he says, he says a kasha, snus is not shchiach. So the last line, if you go down in the big, 3 lines down from the big lines in Tosfot, Tosfot says, Inami ocho, here, why here for snus we worry? She will not sit with him with a prohibition all the days of his life. They worry even for a adultery. I forgot the Rashiyach even though it's not common. Which means, according to the language of Tosfos, who's the takone for Rabbi? My idea was a Shemda Shloimo. I added the Yukim and Rashi. But then Tosfos says, Inami, I read it again. She will not sit with him with prohibition all of his life. She will not sit with him. Says her or him, he will not sit with her, or she will not sit with her. Now, Tosfos says she. She will not sit with him. So the subject is her or him. No, I'm just saying the sub. No, he says, why do you worry for snooze? Why it's a hard spot? Good. You want to save her. Because all our life, imagine all our life she'll be with a guy. All our life she'll be with a. Right? So in order to, 1 second. In order to save from such a situation. You know, if you look at the news in Israel, Israel is very tough, and you guys don't read it. I'm sure in Chutzah is the same. If you look at the news, half the news or 20% of the news in the non-religious people is, oh, she claimed that she told me that this one's not my child. Famous people like that, celebrities, what? Whatever. I'm not talking about the good, I'm talking about Jews. Look in Israeli news. One example, non-religious people that have all those problems. And I saw at last a week or two, at least 3 or 4 statements about those things. Look now. That she felt very bad when she got revealed. He felt bad that his wife revealed him that it's not his son. He's like, what else? It's half the song of the non-religious people is about broken hearts of relationships and family. They vow with tightness. They have the problem. But anyhow, the Rambam says doesn't matter what older generation that's loose. Even the generation with Tukonim in religions, too, there's loose. Looses exist. Anyhow, so the Shaila is nicest language. We want to attack the woman.
Yes.
What? She cannot be too small. As I'm saying, too small. Listen carefully, too small. One is, we don't want her to be all his life, her life. We, the rabbis, don't want this woman to be her whole life, that she knows the truth, that she wasn't allowed to use vessels of fakes, chazokas. All those things doesn't allow the person to know, that knows. So so then what? Since it's all her life and she cannot use those rules, we want to save her. Roshnia will be a big shame. If later on, after many years, will be big night to him or to her. Later on, you find out that she was prohibited. It's a big night for him or for her. Much more about her, because she knew the truth. He was an honest guy. I know Svoris, before I'm telling the outside books. Svoris, use your mind, you're safe. Yes, what do you want to say about Chedesh Levi? Yes. I know that. I know the Chedesh Levi. But I'm now out of the box and saying Svoris. If you ask me, who's more of a Kanai? Him or her? Definitely her. Because I said it's not a Rosh, she's stuck. She did a Ma'aser Resha, but now she's stuck. Like so they made she said, I'm afraid. She says, not true, I didn't laugh. But now to help her, right? She cannot use her. So that's really the subject matter. Now I want to add a kasha of Reb Kivei. Okay? Open the page. Very important kasha of Kivei. And I want to add that to our story here in the Sukkah. Yes, Reb Shmuel. She knows the truth, right? But not. Right? That's exactly the point. So we want to fix her. I'm saying later on, Aiden will come. Who do you want to save? You want to save the husband that until the Aiden come, he was allowed to be with her? Or you want to save the woman that until the Aiden come, she wasn't allowed and she knew the truth? Who do you want to save? And who's going to be more shame? And who you would care about more? What? Stop a whole God, you with me, not on my side. In my camp. Yes. No, we don't blame her. She's stuck. Yira Shamayim, she would say, yes, I did it. Right, but now that she's silent, that's women. Women are ashamed. Let's say she's silent, shtika. So she didn't do a Ma'aser Resha, she's silent. Let's talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. What do you do? Okay. And here I say even if she lied, you still want to help. But she's almost. She's almost. Because if she says yes, she loses her marriage. She doesn't want to lose her marriage, she's ashamed. She wants to postpone it to later on. Maybe they won't find out. What? Right. First of all, that's not true. Could be happen afterwards. She got engaged as a virgin. Could it happen afterwards? No. Talk about the history. Okay. I want to add Reb Kiva Eiger's kasha, very strong kasha in the sugya, which nobody gave an answer to this, only the Maharam. And then we're going to go back to our discussion, who's the Takonav. Okay? Let's see there Reb Kiva Eiger. Reb Kiva Eiger is in page, I don't know what the paper is here, what the guy gave me, which paper. Page 8. Page 8, ocho. What's your name? What's his name? What's your name? Rafi, do you have papers? You got them out a little bit? What? What does that mean? Where he gets them? Okay, let's see if there's some on the tables here. See next to the Reuven, maybe there's some papers. Here, there's a paper here. Rafi. He has a paper next to him. Good. Baruch Hashem. Very good. Page 8. Page 8. Okay, page 8. Reb Simcha, you have that? You don't have papers too? Sure. The Reuven, they don't have any papers. Can you give them some papers? It's very bad.
-1.
Print this down. Please give them from what we have. We print many of them. You don't have? Okay. If Kiva Eiger starts with a kasha against Rabbeinu Tam, and I want to turn it over against Rashi. Okay? Kiva Eiger has a kasha against Rabbeinu Tam. You want to extend it against Rashi. We're going to see what the Maharam Shiv answers. And then we'll go back to what we said until now. That would be a bigger trigger to think again, what is the problem? Let's read it. It's in page, and on top of the page, Reb Kiva Eiger Masech Ksubas Daf Beis Amud Aleph. See there, Shmot Aleph. Iksha Goyen Reb Kiva Eiger al Rabbeinu Tam. The Goyen, the big genius Reb Kiva Eiger, are a kasha on Rabbeinu Tam. What's his kasha? The Av Beishas Goyen. Here it is. It's in page 8. Diaspora Yeshiva papers, page 8 on top of it. By the way, they asked me, tell me what's the specialty of Diaspora Yeshiva? So I said 4 points, but 2 out of the 4 was that the Diaspora Yeshiva teaches Iyun with organized information and methods of learning. I said, there's no other Baal Tshuva Yeshiva, I think, on earth, that teach Baal Tshuvas organize information in such depths and details, teach them afterwards, balance it out and figure out what's the best shot, and we try to do it, each person, each Rebbe, or she would try to teach him what he's doing himself. There's nobody that does that. Why? You know why?
Yes, okay.
Because they don't believe that people have such desire of learning that we're able to put so many hours and details in order to get that. Because you have to put a lot of hours to figure out all the details and put it together. So they don't believe most people about what to do to run to Bekiyas or Halacha, easier thing. Do the depths of the life very hard. Don't put full hard, it doesn't work. Go 80%, right? It's 100%, or at least close to it.
Okay, we can have.
So, but we do believe it. We make it easy, organize information and methods of learning. One of the things which I want to teach, which I learned from my Rebbe, also from my father's the same, bless his memory, that it's not enough that you collect information. First of all, you have this kasha, now you have to figure out, after your own kasha solve it, but after the end of the whole sugya, you have to try to prove what is a true shot in your sugya. What is true Batshuva? I can add what I heard from Rab Chaim Beisher, which is not here, but he's listening. He said to him, of a father, bless his memory, that you can, this is a very important message. It's worth it for you to come to Zion. For those that are here, beginners, they hear what I'm going to tell you now in the name of my father. You have to live and picture your mind and your emotions. Are you the person in order to learn the sugya? Yes. 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 You have to picture, you're that guy that you hear Pesach Patuach and the rabbis tell you that you're the guy, you're this woman. You have to live, picture your mind, imagination. You're that guy. You have to live that, imagine it, and otherwise you cannot put your full understanding and to understand the depths of Chazal. נהיה זה קש. איקשו הגויין רב קיבייגר על רבינו תם. Rabbeinu Tam said that the Iker Takoma of Tainas Besulim getting married Wednesday was because one doubt. Means the husband one doubt. The husband one doubt. So he has a kash. The Avesh is Kohen, even if the wife is a wife of a Kohen, which is one doubt. It's one doubt. Now Mika speaks, so even then there's a double doubt. Why? If you look at Toys on page 9, Toys says, be by Sema, even by one doubt, by a Kohen, or got engaged as a three, there's two doubts. Why? What about she got hit by a stick? Muka says, what's Muka says? Muka says, I had one time a relative. She was a young girl, and she had a problem, and they had to operate and open the virginity. And then she had a whole shame. She didn't get married to very old. She was afraid to get married and revealed to the guy that she's a Mukaseit. So she had the courage and she got married normal. Children, grandchildren. An old woman now. What? 1 second. So that's called Mukaseit. The Medrash says that when Rivka fell off the camel, the Medrash says, Vatipol mala gamal, she fell from the camel, that she got banged and she became Mukaseit. Yes, that the Medrash says. And when she came to Yitzchak, he says, you're not a virgin. He says, I'm a Mukaseit. Which was a big nest. They went and they found her Besulim on a tree next to where she fell off the camel. That's what it says. So Mukaseit, Toisa says, Akati Sveik Sveika, Sokav Mukaseit, so even though she's a wife of a Kohen, and no matter what, so no, she's also, so the only way to permit is before the engagement. That's not true. It could be after engagement, and there's a third possibility, not Rotso, not Oines, Mukaseit. She got banged, she lost her virginity. The Tirtzu Toisves. Toisves answer. The Misa, if it was true, the Avi Mukaseit, if it was true that she got hit by a stick, Abba Toina, she should have claimed that. Because a girl is not ashamed to say Mukaseit. Told you the story, not so. Okay. But once she gets caught, she definitely easily could have said Mukaseit. The fact that she's silent or denies, that takes off the possibility of Mukaseit. Toisa says, that's only in Gemara Daftes. This kind of answers only apply only on Memchet de Rabbi Elazar, only in the state of Rabbi Elazar that he got up in the morning and says Pesach Patuach. She didn't answer Mukaseit is out of the picture. And now Mishnah, we don't talk about when he comes to court and what he claims. We talk about getting married Wednesday and not even go to court. And we don't know if he doesn't get married Wednesday, we're afraid to cool off. And what are we afraid of? One Shabbat. It's not true, it's two Shabbat. And now Mishnah still didn't come to court. We want to get married the right day that will push it to come to court. And we're afraid he won't come. And if he won't come, the base are afraid. What? One Shabbat? Taisha says because we're afraid to be one Shabbat. Not true, there's no such thing one Shabbat. There's always two. There's almost Mukaseit in the equation. The Tiknu, the rabbis fix that she get married on Wednesday. Kedei in order they will come to court and make sure his anger will come to court. Mavaka. Rabbeinu Rabbi Kiva says, what do I care if he comes to court? What do I care if I don't come? Mavaka, what do I care if he doesn't come? Even according to Tosis, maybe we'll go to court, she will claim that she's Mukaseit. She didn't claim is out of the window. But we talk about getting married Wednesday in order that he will go to court, because if he wasn't, maybe just one subject. That's not true. Maybe also just two svekis. So therefore, even Rabbi Nutan that says by one suffix, the reason why the rabbi speaks, because they're afraid he's sky will be one suffix, is not true. Always just two svekis. Now I'm asking you, Kiva's Kasha, I'm extending it to Rashi. You want to extend the Kiva's Kasha not only against Toysvis, now it makes it worse. Rashi. Why? Because Rashi says he has to get about money and go to court to create evidence, to create aiding, right? Okay, double down is permitted. Some Sefer says, when you have double down, you still have an obligation of Ticha to go to find out when you can find it easily, or that's your obligation. But if you have 3 counts, hey, that's too much. Because now we're heading not only by normal woman, Tachto, and even Tachto and some Rotzo, and you say no, even Tachto may be also Mukaseit. So the way to permit it is, you have 4 possibilities. Not under him, she's permitted. Under him, Mukaseit's permitted. The oil is permitted. Only under him, Berotchen's prohibited. 3 against 1. Who says they have an obligation? Too much. Everybody's fake. We have Machloiges, Schoinim, Shoinim, who knows what? They have an obligation of Ticha. Right? But on 3 Sveikes, where's the Ticha?
Well, it's not a third faker. That's why it's not a third faker.
My father used to say like this, listen, maybe right now we're sitting under a building that can fall. And maybe, one second, and maybe it would fall. Big stones will fall, and exactly where you're sitting, and therefore you're not to enter this building. Come on. It's not Shia, it's out of the box. We don't worry for things that are not. Maybe. If you guys not maybe, you go crazy. You can rely, what? It's a kind of muta de muta. Muta de muta, we worry. What's the Reusa? Who says maybe Mukaseitz? Mukaseitz is the Reusa. If she would say Mukaseitz, she's a Reusa. She didn't do any, so what's the one momento? If she did it, if she lived with someone even before the marriage, it's a Reusa, although she's not also, but you don't do those things. Girls, Jewish girls, don't live with other men even before engagement. Even though they're Pnuya. But Mukaseitz, there's not even Rivka is Mukaseitz. Rivka is Mukaseitz. Yeah, where's the answer? Is there more answer? So it's done and there's a telling to rule answer. So what are you obligating me to find? Yes, what? Mukaseitz? That's not true. I'll tell you why. First of all, you're right, Mukaseitz could be is not so common, but also Znut Mashkiach. Znut is also Mashkiach. Gimel adultery is also Mashkiach. A woman that will do an Isu is Mashkiach. That Tosha says, what do you want if it's Nus? If I see she's not a virgin, and I have 2 options, why whatever. If in my mind, I see a Jewish girl, Beis Yaakov girl, and I have my mind, listen, get married the right day, because afterward, what's in my head possibilities? That she's a Mukas 8, or she went to commit adultery. Adultery is Lo Shchiach. Elamai, we say all alive. Great, all alive. But that I know, but if I have two doubts, so there's a shayla, okay, 1 doubt is Isur Doraisa. 2 doubts, the rabbi is obligating you to exert. It's a svara like this. But 3 doubts against 1, it's 4 possibilities. 3 doubts against 1. That's too much of faith. So otherwise go around, I was worried, maybe you ate today, this afternoon you're going to eat chicken. Maybe the Badatz didn't realize that the guy that brought it from the caterer, he's an Arab. Who knows an Arab when the guy looted it? There's so many babies. We don't worry if the minuta. What? Okay, more than that. Un momento, I want to knock out also what you saying and also the bell. The bell says the Reyu said, you said the Reyu said. Un momento. Not true. Because the Reyu said comes upon believing the person shall be nafsh. The point of bringing Eidim, as the Reb Shlomo Megan says, is the information has to come through Eidim, not through through the Eidim. Because Shabya Nafsha, it's only a revelation of a person to himself. We talk about now the truth as basing us to worry. So fake is muta. Before the marriage and before we don't know what's going to be. So we don't know what's going to be. So now you have miuta de miuta of study. When something happened, it's a crazy to say that they made a whole takana. Is that nobody get married only Wednesday? Yeah. What? Nothing happened. I want to tell you what the halacha is. You should know. The halacha is en oisrim ala yuchud. If somebody now he finds out that his wife had yichud, his wife is prohibited or not? No. En oisrim ala yichud. We don't prohibit a wife of yichud. She's not allowed to do it. No. Father him, but so how does he can be with her? Yes, to use common sense. I know my wife. I know she's religious. I know for 30 years. She had yichud, not a fault. The guy came in. There's not. She didn't realize that. I started giving answers instead of. That's not true. He didn't marry her and nothing happened yet. We want him attacking before he got married. We don't know nothing. We're talking about all girls. We're not talking about a situation after they married. He got up in the morning saying, I'm talking about why the rabbi said get married on Wednesday. All women, all virgin women need to get married on Wednesday. Why? Put your mind at rest, relax. Marry a Beisakov girl. This side going to happen. She's even something happened. It's three possibly against one. So why are you worrying about it? Don't worry. Relax. There's a famous song. Don't worry, be happy. Why not? Why not? Normally by one sefek is doraisa also. Two sefek is muta. And three sefek is no muta. Is muta the muta. Even those that say two sefek is you worry. But three sefek is we don't worry about it.
Wait, Rav Yitzchak.
Rabbi. Yes, yeah, but rabbis make the whole Jewish world. When you get married Wednesday, when you have so many tzdodim, 3 tzdodim against 4, 3 against 1, that is permitted. It's not 2 against 1 and not 1 against 2. It's 3 against 1. What's the worry? What? That's not true. That's not true. There's a concept of miut and miut and miuta. Miut and miut. We don't worry for miut and miut. Yes. That's not true. Because she doesn't reveal only after the story, the skeleton comes out. Then it comes out, she should have answered because it's not a big shame. As I told you, I had a relative of mine. She was a mukas 8. She was afraid to tell her husband. In the end, no, she got married at an older age, and then she told her husband. She said, no, she was mukas 8 from how do you call it? From a surgery. Surgery. Not, she doesn't have her fault. She had papers and surgery. Not her, but she was afraid. She had people, but once she had there, she told her, listen, this was a reality. And then she needed to tell him, her father came, whatever he told the guy, listen, you have to know those are the papers. She had an operation, but she's a virgin. No, that's a case that they operate and they close shoulder back again. Even though Amuka says that it became open. I wouldn't say shchiach or not, but it's a possibility. But also it's no shchiach. The only thing is no shchiach. There's possibilities. What? But we don't make takonas. We're not talking about now after the fact. We're talking about before the fact.
Rav Yitzchak.
That's a svara. That's a svara of her. That she will be ashamed, or the children will be later on known that the question of the child came from him. Saying come from him, there's no shame of child, but maybe a shame. And that's why I started my shiur. After this Kiveger, I said, let's go back to my svaras.
Rav Yitzchak.
Maram Shiv says that Kol Man Matzil Attack
Rav Yitzchak.
Maram Shiv doesn't say that. I know that, but Misrael is hard. Misrael is very hard.
Rav Yitzchak.
Some say two sveikas tiche. Three sveikas, there's going to be too much of extension. Sveik is very hard in Smoga. It's very hard in Smoga.
Rav Yitzchak.
Put down all this on the table. That's really what I said. That's my email. Now that we know the Smogas, you learn the Chemda Shloime, you know the Reb Kiva, Reb Shloime, you learn the Ksaf Sefer. I hope you guys learn. You know all the Smogas, right? The Ksaf Sefer says, you know why we metaken? Although Sveik is mutar, but still he says, it's not a complete Sveik. It's not a strong Sveik. As Toysa says enough this. Or he says, Ksaf Sefer says a couple of Smogas, two Smogas. Or because this issue will be forever, not three, will be issue forever, or because the six week garua. As Toysa says, the Roiv Rotzon. Roiv is Rotzon. So even though snus is miut, it's loshchia, but as far as the tzdodim, Roiv is Rotzon. So if you're really worried if it's snus, it's Roiv Rotzon. It's not a good sveik, because he says when the sveik is bad, not good. Or because the issue will be loyal, so my sveiks will be worried. But if you have three sveikas, too much, my friend. So three is really too much. No, don't worry about it. Unless what? Kivegen. Who says? No. No, Nus is one thing because it's another thing. No. So then as a motos, it's not deep of what happened. Not motos. Motos is always 50-50. Yeah. So there's no fake, it's always 50. Motos. What happened? We want to know what happened. All those possibilities of what happened, we have to decide motos. That's studying what happened. So now we're ready. Yes, Rabbi. Yes. Right. Many. Sveiksa, Miskalia, many Sveiks. Yes. 36, he says, wow. Yes. Right. Here she knows. That's what I'm saying. If you ask me if on the table, all those achronim, the Ksaf Soifer, the Chassam Soifer, the Beis Yaakov, the Nesivas that talked about the main problem, the halach is permitted. Especially we can add Reb Kiva's Kash, there's three sveikas. The halach is permitted, and if somebody worries in the Shigan is three sveikas. There's no svara of ticha here. That's what to worry about. He's allowed. So why? So you can't say whatever you can attack him at. Don't attack him. Sveika. There's also other attacking. So therefore, I'd rather say that her, she cannot use all those things. Hers, yes, or she's her, we don't know what happened. But if it did happen, for sure, she cannot use rules. Because hers the truth. What happened, it happened. So since by her, since by her as happened, it happened, so therefore we want to save her from the svoras of what? Shame, or like Isu. She'll be with him all life. You will mekayim her all her life, which should be Isu on her. And she'll be ashamed to tell the truth. So be with Isu all the time. Well, it could be also him, but mainly her, because I think the svor of shame is much more by her. Much more by her. And you can say the svor is going to be or both or only her. But to say only him is very hard in the Sunnah. There's a question of Kivege. And also the languages I brought you in Rashi's, all the languages, it's very hard to say that. The Rashi says, what? Doesn't answer places. But places doesn't want something. Doesn't want something. They says one something is okay. If has a cost, not one something, it's two sveikas. So places you have to answer somehow. But according to Rashi, there's two sveikas or three. So we have a lot of problem. We have to say svor of her, also, at least also her. Only her also. She has to be part of the equation. Okay. This is not my words as the Chemda Shlem. We just added the Rashi's and all the places, in the three places. Rashi the Mishnah, Rashi the Daftes, Rashi the Base, and the Kasha with Kivega we added. It's a Kasha on Rashi too. So there's more Sveikas. So that's really knock out those souls. Here's one of them. Yes. Right. Has to pay. Yes. But he's saying the truth. So then she gets punished. Yes. Yes, but how? It says the Mapo. There's Tainas Domim there. What is Taina was there was no blood on the Mapa. No proof. But they brought like an example of one of the proof, which is a classic. There's many other ways to prove. That's what it means. That's what Rashi means. What? Clue. They don't know. They believe their daughter. Possibly means they come to court and try to clarify why are you claiming that. They say maybe you changed the mapa. Yeah, but let's talk about the classical case. The guy say there's no blood in the map. What the parents will say, you cheated. You put another clean map and they will, let's search for it. Let the basic goes to search, yes. Right, that's what it means, Clem. 80. Yes, that's what the Gemara says, Daftes. First time that's done in Rashi says. Let's see Daftes Amud Beis. Yes, Rashi says. Rashi says, yes.
To make it, so now we're just waiting for it to get here, okay? So where should I go? The first thing here.
Get going. Rashi's the last two lines and Daftet Amud Beis, the last two lines. Get going, for example, Shol Yulem Shoshvinim. You know Shoshvinim they had, how do they say Shoshvinim? Attendants. Shemeshamshu Oisom, that they served the wedding, they first served that night. There was no cheating. And they didn't see, they didn't see or he didn't lose. The Taina was a clear Taina, which means they even saw that this mapa was there before, and that's the mapa that was there before came out. It's John Doe's mapa was a signature there at a sign, was clean before, came after that it didn't get lost, was not changed with another one. There was no law. Means that's the normal class is supposed to seal. They taking the seal. There's many other cases, but it's a problem. It's a mushal, but the mushal has to be a mushal. And what's the father's soul? No. He says you cheated. You cheated. There was you lied and you know. That's what it means. It's a simple meaning of the Torah, no? Yes. That's a different story. Who? Yes. Yes. Wow. Only those cases. But what about Rashi's when Rashi says that the Shamoshi, the Shushvanim, they're giving a testimony that is not the same simla, is or the same. No. Rashi brings a different story. I understood always like Rashi that the dugma of the Torah opposed to simla, although it means it's a problem, it's a moshel. As he brought down his rayas, but the simple case is the simla itself. As says Shushvanim, there was they didn't change it, didn't get lost. What? He says the simla was no blood on it. Petach Patuach. I'm talking about the Tainas Domim. He says it's Tainas Domim, so he's definitely believed that she's not a virgin. And what? Kohen is one suffix, it's a Sfeikis. Okay, so the Rambam was looking for a case of Vadai, not Sfeikis. Maybe that's what he brings down. Maybe that's what he brings down 80 Muslims. That what? Yes. Yeah, but it's still one suffix. I didn't expect that. I'm saying the other sheet, like I said, it's Tainas Domim. So you have a kasha, it's a suffix, not a valley. That's a kasha. Or you have to say Chazok to Rabbi Sudam Mafsido, he's saying the truth, but still say the truth. Still one suffix. Or two suffix, yes. אם הצילוקים עושים קדושים, אני לא יודע. Now, some is mutar also in those days. How mutar also is all part of the sekes. Possibilities, what happened is part of the doubts. What happened in each case is permitted or not permitted. You don't say suffix permitted or not permitted. It's one suffix. No. How it happened brings us fakers. Yes.
That's the purpose of the code.
Yes.
Of the faith.
Yes.
So how are we gonna get that?
80 maybe so. Maybe 80 will. We don't know. Maybe 80 just don't know anything. Maybe 80 will know just she did his news. I don't know. Like the Shleimeger said. There's a lot of possibilities. We're not talking about it. We're talking about the reason why the rabbis were worried is That's what we want. Yes. Or yes. And she cannot use all those fakers. And for us, yes or no. She knows that hers, yes or no. Yes or no. We want to save her. And that's why she says, for her it's only Shema. For us, reference to her is only maybe. There's yes or no. It's all fakers. All those rules doesn't fit. That's why she says, and he will establish her, and maybe she did a snooze. For her, it's only a maybe. Maybe yes or no. There's no fakers. How? There's no yes or no for her, because she cannot use all those doubts. That's why Rashi only doesn't talk about fake. Why Rashi didn't put input all of the Achonim says fakers and fake says only Rashi said maybe. Why is only maybe? She's maybe tzitz and she's also. Because for her it's only one. For us, if it's her, it's yes or no. All those studying the fakers doesn't apply to her. And you may the rabbis that at maybe we'll make kainena. So Rashi's very good. So we bypass all those questions. So we care but don't care. We care that he will not care. Now that he doesn't care, what happens? It's her, him, or both. Good. So now that we're worried that he's going to cool off, worry about him or her or both. That's my question. That's what my whole shit. Well, but not her specific. But son concept. We're worried about Yisrael concept or Ben Yisrael the concept or both. Okay, good. But he can't. But there's a whole big group of Achonim besides the Chemda Shloimeh that says only him. And now we're attacking. Because for him it's fake, and it's triple suffix, and Allah is just permitted. It's very hard. All those answers are running around. It's very hard to say that. That's a nice soul man understanding. Besides the languages, I brought two languages and Rashi's all Rashi's. And I'm saying consonants for yes. Yes. Right. Okay. Because she knows that this is supposed to be clarified. So that's a small, you can put all that in. Okay. Yes, Rabbi. Yes. Yes. That's what it looks like to me. That's what it looks to me. You can say also him, but he's allowed. He's a miskin. He's an innocent guy. He's allowed to be with her. So the answer is Ubitzar, not a real fakers. We says three fakers. Not a real tzar. I think the real tzar is her, not him, because he's innocent. So I say if the svor of tzar, the svor of shame, the svor is not a real faker. We knocked it out. It's not fake. It's three fakers. The shame, it's her more than him. He's innocent. So you have to put an equation in her, and also him, yes. But we can't take her out of an equation. What do you want to say? One second. Yes. That's all true, but she's under him. It's true, but we're talking about what there's a big enough to be. We're going to learn this coming week. I have papers for the coming week. I want to give it out to those to mates and others. They start learning it. For the next coming weekdays, the next week, we're going to learn Shokdu. Shogdu, him being sick, she be sick, neither Takonas Chazal. And there we see that Shogdu, that the Marshal says, hurt Takona. What? Before Oinus, it's pre-Oinus. It's pre-Oinus. Shogdu is pre-Oinus, then we know the Oinus. We learn Bezrat Hashem, with the help of Hashem, 2 more sugyas. One is Shogdu, which is the next part. We're going to give her papers for 1 week. Because then we're going to start learning Oinus. Till after Yom Kippur, and Sukkot, don't say, I'll give some shiurim. Till next month. Maybe even beginning of next month too. So yeah, just 1 second. Yes.
So now she's guilty.
Yes.
So they may get a credit for to avoid the single hand, but it's so
She'll be with the guy all her life. And that will cause shame, multiple isurim. Those svogas, but it's about her. And she cannot use fake. That's what we want to save her. Okay, this is my svoga. Now here's the papers, give it out. This is one for mates and one for you guys. I'm gonna give the yeshiva afterwards we're gonna print it out for everyone. We have to march in. This coming sugya is adjacent to what sugya we learned now. We learn the difference in this and that. Then we're gonna go into Oinus. It's all continuation, one after the other. You have to hold as one big chain. Bezrat Hashem. Yes. Go ahead. Right. 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 What happened? What? Yes. I think hating shows that the reason was hating and not truth. Yes. If it's not true, if it's true to me. The first case is sheker. He has to pay her 100 zuz, right? So that's a hatred, not truth. Truth. So then you need to hate her. It was the truth. Yes. Okay. More social. I want to talk about something very important. We started to talk about it during the week. The Pasha Ben Soyer Moire. The help of Hashem, I want to talk about Pasha Ben Soyer Moire. Very important. So we brought the opinions of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai and others that Ben Soyer Moire never happened and more the teachings out of it. But most annoying hold that Ben Soyer Moire did happen. Okay? So I want to take the route of most annoying that did happen. Did, yes, happen. Yes. But it's very rare. Very rare. Those that said it never happened, not even rare, never happened. And those that did happen was very rare. Okay? And they give a lot of stipulations on what case we have been certain with. And I want to talk about some of the stipulations, or what is the lessons that we learned from it. This is not my word. I heard it 2 nights ago from someone, brother-in-law, and he said, I don't know if he said the name of the Wachaim HaKodesh or somebody. I didn't see it inside, but I looked it inside in the Gemara. It is not quoted the way he quoted it. So, but the point is there, and I want to explain it. Very important point. I'm going to say a point where I want to teach out of Ben Soyer Moire, a very important lesson. It's my understanding. Ben Soyer Moire, the Gemara says, it's a very, very short period of time, between 13 and 13 years old, and all the process has to all happen in those 3 months. The process of warning him, taking him to court, beating him up, then he does it again, and the father and mother takes him. And not only that, it says that if he eats amount of meat, has to be a certain amount, minimum of wine, raw wine, and this wine. cannot be too raw, because and then one of the things it says, he has to steal it from his parents' money and he has to eat it outside with a group. But which group? The Gemara says, if he ate it with a group of pochazin, reikim and pochazin, he ate it with a group of empty people and laughter people, not serious people, there's no ben soiv moira. So, one second. Let me read it inside. The Gemara says as follows. The Gemara in Sanhedrin. The Gemara says if he eats in chabur of a mitzvah or sudas mitzvah, he's not a ben soiv moira. Only when he becomes ben soiv moira, it's the opposite. Only when he cannot becomes ben soiv moira, only if he eats Omar Abiavo, Eino Chayav. He's not Chayav at sheyoichal v'chaburo shekulo srikin. Until he's with a group of all of them are robbers, only then he's a ben soiv moira. The Gemara says why? Because if we will eat in a group of not robbers, but middle case, we have Chabur of Mitzvah, a group of rabbis, we have robbers, and we have stam people. Where's the ordinary people in between? He's not going to be Ben Soiv Moira. Why? Or Kamashma. When he becomes Ben Soiv Moira, only when he eats with a group that all of them are robbers. And the Gemara asks, Chabur mitzvah only, but non-mitzvah, he becomes ben soiv moira, and you said it has to be robbers. That's more as kasha here. Time of the mitzvah, I love mitzvah. Apagav the love kulos riki. The Gemara says no. Amazing. The Gemara says, definitely, if it's a middle ground, it doesn't become a ceremony. But the Kiddush is that even if he eats with a group of robbers, but those group of robbers are eating together with a meal of mitzvah. The group of robbers come in, hey, there's a wedding here, let's get inside. Hey, there's a mitzvah here, let's get inside. They walk in as if the part of the people have been invited, and they eat the meat and drink wine. They're having a party with everybody. Basically, they're stealing. They weren't invited, they're stealing, and they enter the group of Sudas mitzvah, and they're not part of the group, they're robbers, but they're eating from that group. It doesn't become a Solomon. Why? The Gemara says, Kevon, the b'mitzvah kosik v'nimshich. Since he's right now eating in the chabur of mitzvah, sudas mitzvah, he's not going to be pulled after that, become a Solomon. I'm reading Rashi. Daf Ayin Amud Beis. Srikin reikim, Rashi doesn't say srikim as robber, but he said empty people. Sheyagilu because they were accustomed to do so. So the Gemara says, doesn't mean middle people and not mitzvah is not mitzvah. It means that if you have chaburas mitzvah, but the people there are robbers, he's not going to become mitzvah. Rashi says one more word. Masnisi. The Mishnah, the Afilu Kulos Riki, even though the whole group with him are robbers and empty people. Kevon di Chabu Ashtol Mitzvah, since they get attached to a mitzvah, they're not part of the group. The Talmid Rachom are eating their food, they're talking between themselves, and they come with who knows, or bandanas with big, how do you call those chains of metals, and they come with ripped pants, and maybe they tell their girlfriends wait outside, and the Harein will beat us up, the motorcycle, the Davidson, what do you call Harley Davidson, who knows what, and then they're totaling their head, and they come in with a whole group of Sriki and Reikim into watch with a mitzvah. And more than that, happens to be that who's doing the wedding, who's doing the bar mitzvah, is their friend. There's also a Sri. But he's a little bit religious, he's a Masorti, he has a tradition, his father and mother, brothers, so he's making Sudas mitzvah, he's making a wedding for his daughter. But he himself is part of that group. So more double Kiddush. Not only, like I said, they put on it, but the people Haredi, no, the whole meal are seeking. Everybody is seeking. Everybody here. Everybody's empty, robbers, only, but they're making, because one of them, his tradition, his family, it doesn't matter. He did a Sudas mitzvah. And all the people in the Sudas mitzvah are seeking. So Rashi says, unbelievable Rashi. Came on the Ischabu Ashton mitzvah potu. Since they get attached to Chabur of mitzvah, we don't worry, it's not a Ben Sodom, we won't worry, in the end we'll come to a Ben Sodom. It's a very big lesson for us for Elul. I ask you, where do you want to be in Elul? Okay, I can't change my ways. I'm this and that. Where do you want to be in Elul? Mischaber le mitzvah. He's big Kiddush. You have a guy that robs, he steals, got lashes, he was warned. He's not going to become a salesman. Why? Because even the whole meal is a meal of robbers and Dakim and all his friends, but they're sitting in a meal which is a meal of mitzvah, the mischaber le mitzvah. It's a Hebrew attached to mitzvah. They're not doing the head of mitzvah, they're the head of giving me a good meal. Drinking wine, good drink, good meat, what? They're in their head. But there's a Sudas mitzvah. So the mischaber the mitzvah. This guy is not going to be poor. After Ben Sodom, he's not going to kill people in there. Which means, it is the punchline. The hope. We give a hope. A person is a Ben Sodom, but he's involved with mitzvahs, he still has a hope. That's the point. That's the message. That's the message for us. If we involve with mitzvahs, yeshivas, and other involved, we have a hope. It's connected. We have a Hebrew. When you are connected to mitzvahs and the Torah, you have hope. Real? Not to be better, not to be pulled out the Avedas. You're going to be stopped. This is what it says. There's still hope. Even this guy is doing all the actions that according to the natural way we say the end is going to rob people and kill people. No. He's attached to mitzvahs. So a lot of times I meet guys that says, hello to the yeshiva. Hello to yeshiva. Come to Elul. For sure, Yom Kippur, come to Elul. I'm working, I'm in Tel Aviv, I'm this and that. So don't come to Elul. You have hope. You attach to mitzvah, to Chaburas mitzvah, you mischaber to Torah, to mitzvahs, you have hope. Hapa mitzvah, but we're saying chibur. Even though everybody's sitting there, but the chibur, there's a Sudas mitzvahs, change, which the person has hope. So a person has to put himself in situation. That's the message. We have to force ourselves and put ourselves in situation in order that will bring us hope to change. Not a per-time person says, how can I change? Every time I try and I fall down again, we still have hope. Involved in yeshiva, involved in mitzvahs, involved with a group of people who want to grow, don't worry, there's a hope. There's always a hope. But I'm always bad down to smoking, to drinking, to this, I can't get out of that cycle. That's not true. You still have hope. You involved in the yeshiva, iyun, learning Torah, Abuas mitzvah, Chabura, don't worry, there's hope. There's a hope of change. That's what it is. That's the message. Those who hope mitzvah happen. But the message is, when you attach to mitzvah, mechubar le mitzvahs, mechubar le Torah, there's hope. Don't worry, there's hope. Always there's a hope. There's hope to change. So we hope and pray that Hashem will give us the real hope, to really change properly, and we be yosher, straight, and do things right, and able to be happy with Hashem, and able to come to the real tikkun, to see the Mashiach in your name. Abi Hanania will attack you. All time for the side and the soil of people. Even the left hand to the man of the Samati Toy, you play all the acting. Escalei, chamei a mão. Não vou você, eu para você. Aí eu quero ouvir isso aí. Para o esmago e o homem.
Stay rock for me to rock with my baby.
Tomar, Später wurde schon, länger kommen wir so mit An alles soll man aber noch mit die Jungen, dann die Samuel. Da kommen das genau weiß, dass ich schon hatte. Para salvação, ele não pode chamar uma não que dá caminho. Vai lá e do como de geral o homem. Ele só a mão smile e não lei, a voz do homem. Se chegou e a semana acabou sobre o homem. Isso é o homem.
So what I'm getting here from this shot here, the rabbis cannot guarantee the cheeseburger, but what you said with the Torah is that it's not that the rabbi shouldn't guarantee it. It's you have to guarantee it with your Torah mitzvah, with your Leviticus.
No, the rabbis make takanot in order to get problems.
Yeah.
For who? For her and him.
Yeah.
Or mainly